Welcome back to Hawaii Real, everyone. In light of the tragedy that happened on January 19th, 2020 here in Diamond Head, Honolulu, Hawaii, where I lost two friends of mine. It's been a real somber week. It's almost fitting that the guest that I have here with me today, that I had already planned this in the past, that he's a church pastor. He's a good friend of mine that we grew up together, and I think it's fitting for this episode. So let's dive into it. And I want to throw a shout out to Tiff and KK. If you're watching over us, please save a space for us upstairs. So Jared is a pastor for Christ-Centered Community Church. They go by C4 over at Kahala Mall. And if you guys don't know, it's the church that's used to be at Tower Records, right?
Yeah.
Upstairs, right upstairs from California Pizza Kitchen, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Jared, thanks for coming on. How you been, man?
Good. Such an honor to be here, man. It's so cool to kind of be able to connect with you in this way. We're always kind of hanging out and getting to know each other through putting on a bunch of pads and hitting each other through it. Roller hockey.
I'll never let you score, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And so this is kind of a neat setting for us to kind of be able to talk story and get to know each other. Yeah.
So, in light of the events from this past week, what kind of spiritual guidance do you, or have you had to offer anybody, or coming this Sunday in your next, church setting? Do you guys have anything planned, or, what do you guys expect from that kind of thing?
Yeah. So we were actually maybe like 7 minutes or a mile away from the road, that everything happened at. And so even in the midst of our services, I was sharing at the message that weekend, and we were getting reports and calls, and people were talking. And so immediately we were able to kind of take a moment to just pray for law enforcement, pray for firemen, and as well as just the whole situation, the residents that are around the area. It was just a crazy moment for everybody around that space, especially those that, like you mentioned, that you knew people that were on the field, and you knew people that gave their lives. And so, oh wow, man. But I think in light of that, coming back into this weekend, just meeting with people who are on the beat in this area, that are police officers, just kind of sitting with them, man. I'm not trying to talk to them, give them scriptures, trying to fix anything, but just be able to empathize where they're at, and just listen. I feel like God gives us moments to share and to speak, but there's moments like this where we can grieve with one another. And I think that's so appropriate, being human, to sit with somebody and just listen to what the great memories that they've had with that person, or even just the finite of life, that we have a expiration date in this space, and some get taken way too early in this moment. So yeah, man, I find this weekend's going to be similar to that, coming in, and people are going to be thinking about the end of their life. And whenever tragedies happen like this, there's still instillment of fear, and so helping people navigate through that is going to be challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any words of advice or words of wisdom for people who may be questioning their faith or questioning their spirituality in light of, very tragic events like this? That not just this event, but any event of this kind of magnitude.
Yeah, I think that is, I think that's really healthy, actually, for people to question their faith, for people to push back on the thought of seeing the craziness that is happening in our world, and seeing loved ones being taken from us. I think that's healthy for us to be able to navigate through and talk with somebody about. I feel like the people that say, all right, everything's all good, let's just move on, let's just get over it, let's just have faith, is it's not real. Like I think it's just people just trying to cover up being okay with things and try to just move on with life and not grieving in the moment and not really questioning. And so I think it's really good. And I would just say to those that are maybe in that space is to keep on pressing forward and questioning, asking questions, and having a moment where you can just, you feel like you can, because nobody's going to be judging you or talking with you if you're talking to God, like just having moments alone and just pray, and some people might be like, I don't know, I don't believe, or I don't know if I believe. Well, just take a moment and just pray and just ask God, like, God, if you're real, then show yourself or reveal yourself, or how can this happen? Give me an answer to this. And I feel like God loves us so much that he would communicate to us in some way to help us to know that he's answering it, the sign or something. And so I just feel like, yeah, he wants to talk to us if we're open to him. So
yeah. And I feel from like a law enforcement side that tragedies like this that occur, and the one prior to this that I really recall is the Las Vegas shooting, when it was just somebody outside the window of a hotel room just blasting into a crowd of people, is that we are reminded that there is evil in the world. And when there's evil, there must be good, right? And I think that we have to remember that.
That's good. That's really true.
That you're not just going to have evil, you have to have good. And you can't just always have good without the evil aspect of it also.
Right.
Because from my point of view in this week's incident, is that was truly evil.
Yes.
Like, call it mental illness, call it what you want. Right. At the base root of that is evil.
Yeah.
Whether it was the evil that made him go crazy, or was talking to him, or all the voices that he was hearing and whatnot, and all the things that transpired to make him do what he did. The only real explanation I have is there's evil in the world.
That's right. Yeah.
But with evil, there's good.
That's right. That's so well said, man. Yeah. Just thinking about, like you mentioned, the Las Vegas shooting, is that that was just a horrific act that happened from a guy that did this. And but then you hear stories of people, fathers and even strangers, covering over others that were getting rained down on with bullets, and they're covering them and sacrificing their own lives for others. And so you see that good within the evil, and
exactly. And
so you don't justify that evil is right because there's good, but there's just that you can just see the humanity in all of it is that, man, like,
yeah, the outpouring that the community has shown here in Honolulu for the fallen officers has been extraordinary. Just an extraordinary output.
That's right.
So that's definitely good to see, and it's definitely good to see that the community does care, and that we're here in Hawaii. It's real, and the police officers that are patrolling your area, they're most likely locals.
Yeah,
they most likely were born, grew up here, went to high school here.
That's right.
They have families here. You probably are related to them somehow, or you probably know someone who's related to them somehow. So it's, especially here in Hawaii, it's very community oriented. And we're very tightly knit as far as connections are with our law enforcement, our EMS, and our, fire, all of our service industries here. They're part of the community.
Yeah, man. And what I find that it's just this past week is, as I'm looking through Instagram and Facebook, and you're getting to hear the story of these Tiffany, as well as the
Kaulika Kalama.
Yeah, is just to hear their story and their life, and those that admired and loved them, and pictures of family and friends. I just get to get a glimpse. I didn't know them, but I get a glimpse of their life and how they loved people and how they cared for their family. And so
they were two amazing officers, and they were the kind of officers that you want to have in the police department. And they were definitely taken too soon. They were on the job for all the right reasons, man. So what got you into the spiritual realm of being a pastor?
Well, I think the short answer would be God, but I think that I came from a place where, yeah, I didn't grow up in a church environment. I didn't grow up in with any kind of spirituality, really. My mom was a non-practicing Catholic. My dad was a non-practicing Buddhist, and so we didn't go to church only on like Christmas and Easter, and my dad, you know, like was like whatever, you know, and so we just went every once in a while to mass or services or whatnot, and we just figured out family was important to us, family values and all that other stuff, which is really special. But I find that it wasn't until I was in middle school, I think, or no, high school, where these really pretty girls, I don't know, many can relate to me, I'm sure, in this space of like coming to churches. These two really pretty girls invited me to hang out with them, and I thought to myself, man, yeah, you know, like that's great, you know, like where are we going, you know, like let's do it. And so they said, hey, meet us here. And little did I know that they were talking about meeting them at a Bible study. I thought they just wanted to hang out. I thought they wanted to go on this little date or whatever. And so I showed up, and we walked up these stairs into this dark room, and I was really freaked out because I saw like maybe 40 people, like 40 high school students, and sitting in a circle on the ground, and there's candles lit on a plate, and people are singing songs with guitars, and I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is a cult. I gotta get out of here. Let me get out of here. And these girls, again, they're really pretty. They're like, hey, why don't you have a seat? Come sit next to me. And I was like,
man.
all right.
They fished you
They
in.
fished me, man. They're the bait, you know. They're the bait. And so, yeah, so I sat down, and I was able to just listen in and just be an observer, kind of really just shocked a little bit, wanting to get out of there. But yeah, it was interesting because they're singing songs. And I grew up in a very traditional church where we would sing hymns. We would sing these songs that I could not relate to. I felt like it was irrelevant to my life. And so I was hearing these songs from these guitars that I'd never heard before, you know, songs that if I replaced the Jesus or God and put like a girl's name in there, then it would be a really nice love song. You know, I thought it was like, I never heard a song in that way toward God. Like that was so new to me. And then I heard a message. This youth pastor gave a message. I don't even remember a word that was, but I remember afterwards there's a youth leader that stood up. Again, there's like 40 kids that are all my age. We're all my peers in high school. And this youth leader stood up and he said this to everyone. He said, it's not by coincidence or accident that any of you are here, but I feel like God has a purpose and a plan for each one of your lives. And I don't know why, but something switched in me, like there's something that like turned in me that helped me to realize, like, man, why would God be interested in me? It made me think like what? Like, how could God? I never thought it. I think I always believed in God. Mm-hmm. I think I always believed that there was a God, but I believe that there was a God that maybe made things, and then he like wound it up like a toy and then walked away like an MIA father. Like he made it and then he walked away without a care. You know?
Sure.
But in that space, when he said that, something clicked in me to think, why would God be interested in the details of my life? And so it was like 3 months of just me asking questions, really skeptical. Like I probably gave my youth pastor a ton of white hairs because I just asked like ton of like crazy off the wall questions that I'm sure like a lot of people ask. And by the end of it, you know, he didn't really give me all the answers that I was looking for. I think he just sat with me and he listened and he empathized and he said, hey, I don't have all the answers now, but let me just find out so that we can figure it out together. And that was so helpful for me. And so it wasn't until three months later where I finally decided, yeah, like I believe that there is a God who's interested in the details of my life, and he reveals himself through Jesus. And from that point on, and I just said, okay, I'm ready to follow him. You know, I'm ready to, whatever that looks like. And so I said this really dangerous prayer. I said, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Wherever you want me to go, I'll go. And it's been like that, man, like a roller coaster ride where there's been moments where he wants me to go somewhere or do something or say something to someone. And I'm just like in awe because I would never do that, you know, in my nature, in my personality.
Well, it's like the craziest place you've been to,
yeah,
following God.
I've been to many places in the U.S. Skid Row in LA, Tenderloin in San Francisco. I've been to the really crazy parts of the Philippines that are hanging with the poorest of the poor, and it's probably been some of the most refreshing moments of my life. I got to tell you, like the moments where I just really, it puts things in a perspective of the value of human life, and it helps me to really humble down and thinking that I need things, like I need that iPhone, I need that Samsung Galaxy. No, I don't need it. Like I can see that there's needs out there that are real. And so I'm not trying to belittle, like I still have a Galaxy, I still have these things, but it helps me to put things in a perspective, in that space. Right. And so, yeah, there's been moments where he's had me talk to people, and I would normally not, but it's been refreshing, totally.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up, going to the Philippines and seeing like the poor of the poor. It's because I lived in Manila for 3 years growing up, third grade through sixth grade. My dad was in the Army, and he worked at the embassy over there. So I was right downtown Manila. Oh man! So we got to see people living in cardboard boxes, and not just like the homeless people like you would see maybe here, but like families, and that's their house that they grow up in and live in. That's where they live, and that's what they do. And there's a crap ton of poor people that we here in the United States have no concept of what poor really is. I mean, we do have our homeless and everything, but it's not like that. No. Like that was brutal, brutal poor.
That's true. Yeah, we recently went last year, and we ran into. We got to meet with people that live in a home. So they're grateful that they have a home, but it's the size of many of our bathrooms, 5, 6, 7 people living in a bathroom of a size of a house, and that's their space. And community bathroom down the street, community kitchen like nearby in somebody else's outdoor area. And so like that's just and so yeah, man, again, coming back to that place of just perspective, helps me to come to the realization that, and there's this sense of poverty that's out there, and it's a word that you think that it's just a mindset, but you get to look around and you see like it's pervasive, like just overwhelming at times. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, it's wild. But yeah, that's some of the ways that I feel like that God had asked me to, like, hey, go there and meet these people and speak to these people and share with these people. And it's been probably some of the most refreshing moments in my life, where most often I would be like, no, like let me just enjoy my vacation time. Let me just enjoy this time in another culture. And it's like, man, when we give ourselves away, we find that we get so much more, So I've been learning that a lot lately.
Okay, Jared, give me one thing that you love about Hawaii, or love about living in Hawaii, or what?
Yeah. I've lived here my whole life. And so it's kind of, I find that it's hard to leave this beautiful place that I call home. One of the things I love about it is the beautiful beaches. I live in Mililani, so it's close to North Shore, which I think is some of the most beautiful breaks and surf and shave ice and all that goodness, man, is all down here. Country, man.
Do you surf?
Good. I do, man. I love surfing. I'm not that great at it. I go out small days, but I love, to be out in the ocean. It helps me to just enjoy God's creation. And
so you just love being in paradise.
Refreshed. Yeah.
Being in paradise. That's what I love about Hawaii. Just being in paradise.
Yeah. That's it. It's true.
That's about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think part of it is also like just the food and the culture and the people. Like I grew up here my whole life, and so when you get to grow up with a group of people that you love and care for, it's hard to leave, right? It's hard to kind of start anew in a new place and check out other cultures and other ways of life. And so I'm so used to the melting pot that we have here in Hawaii of getting to know people's cultures and the honor and respect that people have for one another. So yeah, it's hard to imagine another place that doesn't have that. And I know that lots of places have that. I'm not saying that.
I don't know. I think Hawaii is like kind of unique in the world, where, right, because we are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Like we're the most, what is it called? We're the most
isolated
land in the world, but we have a lot of people here. Also 1 million population or so, and tens of thousands. No, almost 1 million tourists or something like that every year. Or is the number wrong? I can't remember.
Yeah, like about 1 million people on at least this island.
Right, but then tourists constantly coming in, so it's a huge blending pot, melting the cultures together. And we have a good history of that here in Hawaii, where you have like the Japanese, the Chinese immigrants coming in and mixing in their culture with the local Hawaiians here.
That's right.
Then the white guys came over and brought their culture. That's fine. We're using it. Yeah. And I think that's become a good staple. They brought Spam. Right? You got a lot of Spam.
Minnesota. Yeah, bring in the Spam.
Is that where it came from? Minnesota?
I think so. Yeah, I heard that. I think somebody said
it's like after World War II, right? Or during World War II, they brought the Spam and it stayed. And
yeah.
I don't know. Who knows the history of Spam out there? I don't know. Leave a comment below.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's one thing you like about Hawaii or love about Hawaii. People, culture, food. It's 3 things.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you hate about Hawaii? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So I think that one of the things when I talk with friends that are from the mainland is something that entices me to move away from Hawaii is the idea of having seasons. And I know that my friends, they make fun of me because they're like, you don't want that. You don't want to have seasons, with snow on the ground and flower or, like leaves changing and all of those moments. And I think, part of me has a longing to experience that, to have actual seasons where you see snow or you see leaves fall during the fall, or seeing spring and just getting to enjoy out of a long winter, the beautiful sunlight and spring and life coming back to normal again. And so part of me would love to have that experience.
That's interesting.
So that's what we don't get here in Hawaii, right? We don't get that.
Bro, we got the 4 seasons. Go stay over
there.
Yeah,
stay at the 4 seasons. Crazy, man. That's true. And then also, I think that one of the things, and I know many people complain about the traffic. I would love, and I was just talking with you earlier about road trips, like to have the opportunity to visit other states and go and see. I love history, and to be able to see other places and other states, to be able to recognize the history that has been there it's fascinating to me. And so, but because we live in Hawaii, we don't have that opportunity to do long road trips. Like I think I did a road trip around our island. It took like 2.5 hours, and that's about it. And so to have that experience would be phenomenal.
It's definitely one thing that we are lacking by living in Hawaii, is that you don't have the ease of access to travel to other places, in a car like you could in the mainland. I lived in Las Vegas for 5 years, and I took a trip to Denver and just got in my truck and literally drove.
That's awesome.
And there were several trips that we made, like trips to Disneyland and stuff. We just literally got in our car and drove.
See.
And it was so easy. We didn't have to plan and buy airplane tickets and get hotel rooms and such and such. So that definitely, it's definitely one of the downsides of living in an island paradise.
Yeah. So pros and cons for sure.
Oh shucks! You want winter? Oh, how about you just sit on your beach and sip your Mai Tai over there?
I know, man.
Stop complaining.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of friends that they live in Washington, and I'm like, oh, it's so cold right now. It's like 59 degrees or 61 degrees, and they're like, shut up, man. Come on.
I have to wear socks.
Get off my back.
It's so cold. I have to wear socks. So my kids haven't really been in snow yet. They've seen it. They've kind of been in patches of it and stuff, but they've never been in like a wintry location where it's actually snowing on them. They can have snowball fights and stuff like that. And they're, complaining about it and stuff. And I'm like, dude, guys, there are millions of people that live in the snow that have never been to the beach.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys get to go to the beach all the time.
That's true, man.
But it's all perspective, right, man?
It's true. Totally perspective, right? Like, that's true, man.
But funny you should mention the 4 seasons kind of situation. There was a study done, and this is completely unrelated to anything. Yeah, it's just me rambling, but that there are tropical locations, locations that are closer to the equator, don't the people there don't react as well to change, whether adaptability, or that's technology, language, whatever, means of living, that kind of thing. And the people who live in the further away from the equator, where they have changing seasons all the time, are far more adaptable.
Wow.
And one of the theories behind that is that they see these 4 seasons change every year all the time. So they're constantly in a state of change and recovery, because they know that, okay, it's wintertime, summertime's coming up. And I think the study was actually pinpointed to like Lower Italy and Sicily, where like in Sicily, like things just don't change. And even in the language, they don't really have a future tense for some of their verbiage and stuff like that. I don't remember the details of it, but I thought it was really interesting. I was like, that
is super interesting.
that kind of is. And you look at like, so I'm an inventor, right? And you look at Hawaii, it's like Hawaii has the lowest percentage of patent applicants of the entire country. Out of all 50 states, Hawaii has the lowest percentage of patent applicants. So we don't have inventors here.
Right.
I mean, we do. I'm not saying we don't.
Yeah,
we do, but it's just compared to the rest of the country.
Like rare and far between, right? Like there's just a few.
We're lagging. Like, we are seriously lagging. And I mean, it's not like something we need to catch up on or anything. It's just a thing. Because we still have our beaches and whatnot. But, we produce like really great people. Like President of the United States,
right?
Bruno Mars, a bunch of football players, baseball players.
Yeah,
not too many basketball players.
League World Series, like little league World Series.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
all these
Little League World Series guys.
Yeah, wild man. That's a really wild,
mind blowing.
Yeah, no, I when you shared that, I was thinking about all the how people say Hawaii is far behind the continental US, like in the trends that's happening around the US, it's like it's a little bit behind.
But we're also like really afraid of change and adaptability here in Hawaii. It's really hard to change our laws and stuff like that. It's
which makes sense, like now that you say that, it kind of makes a lot of sense, in that space.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
That's why I advocate for like kids after high school, go away to college in the mainland. Like get off the rock.
I'm a big, I think that's
go see the world.
That's what we want to encourage our kids to do as well.
And not just visit these places, but like go to school somewhere and like work in another place somewhere in the mainland where you can get, different points of view, different perspectives on just solutions for stuff. Like traffic here sucks. Why? Because we don't use the solutions that we could.
That's so good, man. And you get to appreciate other people's, you get to appreciate your own culture too. You go to another place and you see how they operate, and they deal with conflict, they deal with honoring people. And sometimes there might be things that we can learn from that, or there's things that we probably were like, no, I don't care for that. I now I can appreciate where I come from and what we do. So that's good, man.
And I'm always a proponent, hey, go to the mainland, learn, come back.
That's so good.
Help fix things up, but definitely get that experience. I think it's a disservice for anyone to just live on the rock and not get off and see the world, see the rest of the country.
That's true.
Because that's one of my pet peeves is like when people here in Hawaii think that, especially Oahu, think that this place is big. It's like, dude, this place is tiny.
Yeah.
Like you get on a plane and you're flying over the Midwest and all you see is land.
Yeah.
From, 20,000 feet, 30,000 feet in all directions. All you can see is endless expanses of land. Like the country's huge. The world is huge.
Yeah.
Like Hawaii's this teeny, 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 tiny place.
Yeah.
But good things come out of Hawaii.
Definitely. It is true. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that'd be helpful, man, to see the world, have a better perspective of everything, around us. Yeah, or else you get like, what do they call it? Like island fever, kind of like staying in the space. Yeah, you don't want to leave.
I think when St. Louis High School went to the mainland to play that football game.
Oh, yeah.
In Las Vegas. I think that was one. I think one of the kids, I think it was in the newspaper, one of the kids like said that this was the first time he was on an airplane.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was something else. I can't remember. But it was a kid playing sports, going to the mainland. I was like, this is my first time on a plane. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I believe it, man.
I believe
totally
it.
believe that.
It's sad that we're in that state, but it's expensive to fly to the mainland. So I get it.
Yeah.
Unless you go Vegas. What? It's like $300-$400.
So the 8th island, I don't know, 7th island.
Ninth island,
Ninth island, right? Yeah. Yeah. But I was just thinking about the trends, you know, like I was thinking about what you said about how the you know, like in creativity and innovation and things like that, because of the seasons, the change is not as a frequent to people that live here on the Oahu or the islands. And I think that that's a trend that also is within the church. I think that that's something that that is really evident when it comes to people coming to know a God compared to like the people that live on the East Coast to people that live on the, you know, the West Coast.
What do you mean?
I don't know why I brought this. I'm trying to figure out why I'm bringing this up. I think that it's some of the issues that they're dealing with in the East Coast as well as West Coast are not issues that we deal with here, and it's something that maybe is because of cultural aspect to honoring different people's point of views and religion and perspectives versus in some places of like the mainland continental US where things are, there's harder lines, you know, of like, I'm agnostic, I'm atheist, I'm Buddhist, I'm like, there's a huger span of separation, like you're right, you're wrong, this is your truth, my truth.
Yes.
Versus like, oh, we're gonna honor and we're gonna walk with you regardless of what you believe in. And I'm not saying it's all like that throughout our islands, but I'm saying that there's a little bit of a gap between that and here. So
we're like we're more giving to or more accepting of different,
I don't know, I think
beliefs.
I think there's a, in general, right, I'm not saying like specifically, but I think in general there's so much, the melting pot of people that are here. Like I said, I grew up in a very non-practicing Buddhist house, non-practicing Christian house, and so like it's this place where regardless of what you believe, there's this aspect of respect, this aspect of honor. And so like if you tear my stuff down, then that's gonna be really bad, you know, like in that space of yeah, like you're gonna, like our island is small, so everybody's gonna hear about it, everybody's gonna know about it.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
And so yeah, man, I don't know why I brought that up, but I thought it was something that is making me think. As you bring up these questions, it's making me think about like, wow, that's interesting. I never thought about that. The changes and the shifts because we don't have seasons is something that we wrestle with, even in the profession that I'm in, you know.
Great. You're not gonna get sleep tonight, huh? You're just gonna be thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna think of that, man. Like, dang, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. So I just like to dabble around and look at those kinds of studies and things like that. So
yeah, I dig that, man. It's good.
it's like, why are things the way they are? Because you look at like a lot of the tropical countries, they don't really have a whole lot of change going on in them. They don't have a lot of advancement. Like a lot of Hawaii's advancements, technologically wise, come from the mainland.
Or Asia, like parts of Asia where
yes.
there's a lot of innovation in that space.
Right. So Asia is a great example. You take like Japan and Korea.
Yeah.
They have seasons. They're seasonal. There's a lot of change.
That's
There's
right.
a lot of economic boom and whatnot. And then you take a place like the Philippines. There is
a little closer to the equator.
not
Yeah.
much coming out there.
Yeah.
But then you flip that over. It's like, whoa, look at Singapore. It's like, okay, well.
Oh yeah, Singapore is a very innovative. Well, it took a while. It was a while, right?
Yeah, but give me on a soapbox about Singapore. I went there.
I don't know. Yeah, I've never been, so I just.
So what do you like to do, Jared? In your free time, you have any hobbies or anything like that?
Yeah,
Other than just being a pastor.
Other than roller hockey, which is how I know you.
Yeah,
I've done that since I was 6th grade, which is unusual because it's something that I still like to do and still get to play.
That's the beauty about hockey right now is that like as an adult you can still play it, you know.
Yeah, man. That's it. I enjoy it. And yeah, I don't know if I'm any good at it, but I like the friendships that I've come up with, in that team camaraderie experience. And so
Number one, he is pretty good. Number two, he has a lot of friends from it. So I mean, that's the more important part, right? Making the friendships and the lifelong relationships that you have with the people there. I know that's one of the reasons I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so roller hockey is one of them. Surfing, I enjoy doing. It's not like I'm super great at it, but I like to be on the water. I like to surf, like ride waves.
So a mediocre hockey player, bad surfer. What else?
I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is something that not a lot of people know about me, but I enjoy it.
Oh, I didn't know
compete
that.
And
you compete?
Yeah, just small, like this thing called NAGA, which is a North American Grappling Association. They have it like twice a year.
What? And where do you train?
Train at this place called United MMA. Mm-hmm. It's led by a guy named Ken Lee, and his kids are Angela and Christian Lee, and they're like champions at like ONE FC. It's an Asia-based MMA company that's huge. It's like bigger than the UFC in Asia, and they've been on the news for a few times. Young, humble, amazing young men and women, brother and sister that are both champions in their divisions, and I get to train with them. And so it's such a neat opportunity to learn from them and to get better because of them.
How'd you get started in BJJ?
Yeah, I think a friend of mine, it always starts with a friend inviting you, checking it out, and it just becomes really addicting, man. I love the idea of connecting with people and growing, and it's so humbling, man. And I know that you had somebody on your show just recently talking about that, but I just feel like jiu-jitsu it teaches you some character, man, because you're on the ground and you feel like you should be stronger and bigger than the person that you're going against, but they know technique, and it's just humbling, man, to tap out because of somebody that knows more than you. So
I know all about that.
So helps me to keep myself humble, man, for sure. So jiu-jitsu is something that I really enjoy. I grew up skateboarding and rollerblading, like ramps and aggressive skating, and so. Did
you ever injure yourself playing anything, doing any sports or anything like that? Broken bones and stuff?
Yeah. No, I've never. You know what? It's interesting. I never broke a bone before, and in all this, I've used to compete in like rollerblading competitions where I used to do like flips off of half pipes and doing all that stuff, and then skateboarding, and I banged my head a few times. I've gotten hurt like bombing hills on longboard skateboards, but I've never broke a bone. I think I've displaced a finger bone, but it just popped right back in for jiu-jitsu, but that's about it. I've never experienced a broken bone before. I don't want to say that and then happen
knock
later on.
Wood,
I know, seriously.
Knock on wood.
But
I'm in the exact same boat. Never had a broken bone. However, I remember I was playing football. I was playing catch with some friends back in like 8th grade, I think it was, with a football. And we were just playing catch in the yard, and the guy threw the ball at me, and for some reason, the way it was spiraling, and I would put my hands up to catch it, and the tip of the football hit the tip of my pinky.
Oh, pinky.
Like, and just like my finger, instead of bending up like that, it bent the other way.
Oh, yikes, man.
It bent down instead of bending up.
Yeah.
So totally dislocated, and I just like popped it back in, and like it felt
you
good.
Just popped it back by yourself. You
just like I was just like, holy crap, pop.
And then it was all good.
It's still working, and I just continued playing catch. And then like later on that day, it like got all swollen and stuff.
Wow, and then it's about the same. You put your fingers together, it's all the same.
They're fine. It's fine now. Okay. My pinky's good. Don't worry about my pinky.
Yeah, man.
But that's it, man. No big injuries or anything. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's all the hobbies that I've had throughout my life that I really enjoyed. I mean, I played basketball, but not on like a team or just. I live by a park, so we used to bowl all the time. And I like athletics, but I never played football or soccer or anything like that. Roller hockey was that thing that navigated us in that team.
It's kind of weird how that happened. Like during high school, how hockey just like street hockey became big around that time because it was the 90s, mid 90s.
And rollerblading was a thing. Like everybody was doing it. And
then you had like the Roller Hockey International coming up. You had the pro beach hockey or
like
something
those
like that.
those balls and those little ramps and
And so it was all over TV and stuff. And Yeah, and everybody wanted rollerblades and everybody wanted hockey sticks and, go to Sports Authority and buy stuff and go play out in the parking lot and go play out in the street, go play on the basketball courts. Those are good times.
Yeah. And that's
how we have evolved.
yeah.
Those are like cavemen.
Yeah,
era.
not rollerblading is not like as popular as it was back in the day.
You don't see anybody rollerblading.
Nobody's rollerblading
around.
for a
No.
recreational sport, nobody's doing that.
Nobody's going to work on rollerblades or anything. I mean, remember those blades that had like you could take the blade off the boot?
Yeah, I remember those.
I think they were Megas or something like that.
Yeah.
The blade, the chassis with the wheels on.
Yeah,
on
they
it,
just slide it off.
Yeah,
right?
you could snap that thing off and put like an ice blade on.
Yeah, man, nobody does that anymore. Yeah.
No, I don't know how we do. We play for like hours in the sun,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and now we're playing indoors and we play for like an hour and we're done.
Yeah. It's age, man. We're getting there. Well, you still got it, man. You're still going for it. You're still competitive in the international scene. But
no.
For me, I'm ready to tap out. Speaking about jiu-jitsu,
think-
I'm ready to tap out in that.
It's one of my last seasons here. Getting ready to tap out. It's like as a hockey goalie, it's too agility specific of a position that you just can't be old and do it. Or you can, you're just not gonna be good. There's a lot of limitations to what you can and cannot do, and be fast and whatnot. And I think I'm fast approaching that point where, standing up isn't as quick or as easy as it used to be. So it is what it is. Man. I'm in my 40s.
You still got it, man. Every time I see you on the court, you're killing it. So
I'm just killing it against you because you're the same age.
Yeah, because I can't shoot, man.
I'm getting old, you're getting old, so we're at the same level.
Something got to give, right? So this one gives, yeah. Yeah, man. Wow. This is really good. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah,
Scott,
so
if you're tuning in, Scott, thank you.
So tuning in, guys, we are downing some of the Lanikai brew that Scott Vaughn had provided us last couple episodes ago. Had them nice and cold in the fridge. And I have the Mauka to Makai edition Forever Summer Pog. And it's a sour ale brewed and flavored with passion fruit, mandarin, and guava. And let me tell you, it's sour. Like it's a lip pucker.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, bud. What are you drinking?
I got the Kawena.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He says he grew up in Hawaii.
I know. I can't.
Kawena?
Kawena, highway. No, I can't, man.
So the Kavena?
Kavena. That's how you say it. Yo. Okay, I'll put it down.
So, Mr. Hawaii, do you, and I know you're religious and spiritual with the church, but do you have an aumakua?
Aumakua, like ancestry animal that represents who I am.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar. I've for those of you that probably know, I don't know, it's not a lot of people. I have a Filipino Japanese background, and so I've not grown up with that. Yeah,
but still,
idea,
they're both still very spiritual.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Cultures.
You're right. But Aumakua, no, I don't know. I'm not. At least I'm not familiar with one. Yeah, for sure.
Now you're gonna start looking around at the
Yeah.
animals.
Now I'm gonna look at like, hey, which one? No,
the rabbit.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I bring that up is my name Io is it's the Hawaiian Hawk.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've always looked at that as like my aumakua, not as in the traditional sense of like ancient Hawaii and how they had aumakua, because it's clearly not, because it was such a bigger thing, and it's more like one of your ancestors or one of your relatives passes and they become that animal,
right?
Like in the movie Moana.
Yeah, Moana, right?
When Auntie turns into a
Monterey or something.
Yeah, Monterey. Mine is more sort of like just kind of a spirit animal. I think more of a Native American type spiritual being. But yeah, the hawk, I like it. Yeah. The hawk is always known for having great eyesight and being able to oversee everything. And I've been fortunate to have that 20/20 vision. Yay. Yeah. Knock on wood again. Okay. Don't be going blind. But the Hawaiian hawk is like, it's the protector. The owl, the pueo, is popular aumakua for people, but that's also like wisdom and stuff. So, The hawk is more of a protector.
Yeah, io. I heard this from a good kahu of a good friend of mine, who was talking specifically about that word io and the idea of ancient Hawaiians who believed that there was one God and that God was io before
The creator.
And then the one that was above everything. Like I guess the hawk is the one that is above all. Like can.
Oh, he's flying
higher
over everything.
And so I just thought, it's such a unique, special name. And
my name's God.
yeah, Iwo, who they worship, and it, it's special, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
it could be Odin or
Odin. And but what Iolani Palace, right? Like, what is that? That's a significant, not just for the hawk, but
royal hawk,
right? Yeah. So it's just like there's this higher, like above, not just the animal, but this thing that's above. So you're pretty much above. That's what I'm saying. You're like prestige, pristine.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry why I'm saying that.
And that was the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, that's it.
You just okay. Well, you're God, so I don't know what else.
Yeah, I cannot say.
How do you follow that, folks? No, but like in ancient Hawaiian mythology, Io is the creator god.
Yeah, have you heard that before? Okay.
Yeah. But the hawk, its tradition holds that the name is derived from the sound that it makes.
Oh.
So.
Wild, man.
Yeah, that's why they call me Io. Like, apparently I'm a loud, screeching
Because you make
person.
that sound all the time.
Yo. I do look at the spiritual aspect of like names and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's a real thing. Even biblical things that they believe that names were a very unique part of a person's destiny. When they said they gave a person their name, they believed that name would identify or their what they would do. And so
because you kind of stuck with it.
Kind of, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's unique, man. Mm-hmm. Special. That's why I think that's why as parents we look at baby books and we say, hey, what does this name mean?
It's
like you get consumed by that thing. But biblical times, it was something that's really, really unique and special. And I guess that's one of the reasons why is because we want our kids to have the name that would help embody who you're hoping them to be,
What culture doesn't name their child until like they're several months old? Where did I hear that?
Yeah. I heard that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I know like some Native American groups like will name their child at birth and then like give it a given name as the child is like maturing and has come into their personality and stuff like that. Then they'll give them a name that they'll stick with throughout their life. That's interesting.
Yeah. No,
it's could you imagine not being named until you're like 10 years old?
So what do they call you? Hey, boy. Hey, bro, come over here. No, what did he say? I don't even know. Yeah.
I don't know. Poopy pants?
I don't.
Until you're 10 years old.
I don't even know how to.
And then they can call you, and then you've earned the name Steven.
You earned it. There you go, buddy. So your name means, would you say your name means like the bird Io, which means like eyesight and like, what is that? What do you?
I don't know. I just think it like just relates to the bird, the hawk. It's not a hummingbird. That's good. It's not a pigeon.
Yeah.
But apparently I like to eat rodents and bugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So. But like you said, it's, the bird that flies high and oversees all and kind of protects everything. So.
Yeah. It's unique. It's special, man. My name is Jared, right? And so I found out years later that that it's a Bible name, like it's in the Bible. The name Jared is in the Bible, and I didn't know that. I thought it was just something people gave people names, And so I wanted to find out what it meant, And so I found out that it means descent, when you go down an elevator, you like descend.
Oh, descending.
Yeah, okay. Descending. And I was like, wow, that's such a crappy name. Like, why would you get a name like that? And so I wasn't super stoked about it, but then, I think a couple of years back, I saw that name was in the lineage of Jesus, which was something I thought was kind of neat. And then right after that name, it says that Jared was the father of this guy named Enoch. And it said that Enoch walked with God.
Yes.
And so I just felt like, yeah, there was a promise in that one day I'd be a father or a person that would allow people to walk with God. And so I think that kind of contributes to, I guess, the calling that I feel like I'm in that space of being a pastor or being a person that helps people walk with God. So I really, at first I thought it was a really negative thing, like Jared, descent. And then now I kind of get a grasp that maybe it's something cool. Like it could be something
That is cool. Yeah. That's a cool story.
So super hopeful.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Descent.
Decent.
Decent.
They're decent.
Jared, thanks for coming on, man. It's been great. Thank you for offering your spirituality to us today. And
thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Such an honor, bro.
All right, buddy. Take care. And as always, stay happy, Hawaii.